In my case, a manufacturer of thermal imaging cameras, which is what I'll be going through today. And we are called upon by the ASC members to help them specialise with their projects, help them out, advise them in the right capacity. So the talk today, as it says up here, is going to be the advantages of multi-sensor platforms across thermal technology. Thermal technology has been around for a long time, but as the gentleman said earlier, thermal technology has really changed, especially in just the last 6 months. And I'll go through why. So what do I mean by a multi-sensor platform? With thermal cameras or thermal imaging cameras nowadays, what we are looking at is, rather than just having the thermal camera on its own, it's going to be combined with, as it says there, multi-sensors, so different types of equipment going with it, but going on the same platform. So if we just go through these 3 examples to give you a basic idea. The system on the far left here, there's a radar sat on the top, there's a pan tilt unit or PTZ unit, depending on where you are in the world, in the middle. There's a thermal camera or a thermal tube, as we call it, on the left-hand side, and there's a visible camera on the right-hand side. Normally, that is probably quite a generic system for the thermal industry, and obviously having the radar on top greatly enhances it. But the system below is normally what you'd class as a standard system. So you have your thermal camera, you have your visible camera. The unit then in the middle is something slightly different again. So same middle unit, same PTU, same PTZ, but this time there's an acoustic loud hailer on the left-hand side. So that will be able to generate audio messages, get off my land, you're going to be shot, etc. And this can go up to 2 kilometers on this particular one. So there are ones out there on the market that can go even further, but these are HD quality on the audio as well. So the audio is very, very good, very, very clear. Also on here is a visible camera, which is the top item, and then below that is an illuminator. So now we've got a white light, a laser dazzler, an illuminator. Again, different products, different sensors being added to the same middle controlling piece. Then you go to the more standard, the more recognized unit, which is the one on the far right here. I'll move out of the way, which is a combined unit again. So there's a visible camera, there's a little Sony Starvis visible camera in there, but then there's also a fixed lens thermal camera within the same housing. This camera is a lot smaller, a lot more compact. For those that are in normal CCTV world, that is more like a normal box standard PTZ, but you've got the advantage of having your visible and your thermal in one unit. So complementary technologies, how are things changing and how are things moving on? The particular unit here is just a slightly bigger version of the one you saw on the right there. Hopefully you can just about see these videos. But what we're trying to say here is that we've got nowadays in the thermal market a thermal camera with a visible camera. So the thermal is giving you good nighttime and high contrast detection, and the visible is obviously there during the day and situational awareness. Having these 2 cameras together hopefully gives you the best of both worlds, and as you'll see from the videos moving across, this particular camera has a zoom lens on the thermal as well. So again, it's still a small, compact camera, and this particular camera is actually shown on the stand over in the exhibitors hall. So you can have zoomable thermal lenses on this, and then obviously you've got your daytime camera as well, which is also zoomable. Sort of applications where these are being used nowadays, a lot's been used for maritime since the start of thermal cameras for obvious reasons, critical infrastructure sites as well, and perimeter security. However, again, this is changing. The markets are coming a lot further down to more commercial premises, and these types of cameras are being used in more and more places. These are the smaller units. We're going to get onto the bigger units, but again, just to give you an example. So, touching on the rest of the smaller units, again, you don't need to have a thermal camera in there at all. Another device or another unit is back to the visible camera in a PTZ, but this time, white light, infrared, or a hybrid mixing the 2. Again, all possible within these units. Great application for law enforcement and perimeter security. A lot of these style of cameras are installed on vehicles, on boats. So again, a totally different application, a totally different market. The video, I appreciate there's a lot of light on this, so the video you can't see that clearly, but that's just showing the illuminator, which is part of the light on this system at 120 meters. So it's not a massive illuminator, but again, it's just showing you the example of what it can do. More complementary technologies are moving on to bigger systems now. So this particular system is where you would get the much, much further mid to long range thermal lenses and thermal cameras. So again, this is a multi-sensor platform again, but now we've gone up to 3 units on the same. So we're still on the same PTU unit, we're still on the same PTZ platform. On the left-hand side, a thermal lens again. Again, on the top right, a visible camera, a small visible camera, but below it, a much, much bigger, powerful, long-distance thermal lens. We also have something which we call, there's basically 3 or 4 different types of thermal camera. There's one called SWIR, which is short-wave infrared. There's one which is medium-wave infrared, and there's one which is long-wave infrared. The reason we have the 3 different types is they can achieve different things. As you'll see from this video in a minute, one of these items on this multi-sensor platform is also a SWIR thermal camera. So what do we mean by that? It's a shortwave infrared. What it does is the thing that thermal cameras mostly hate is fog and mist. If it's very dense fog, very dense mist, a thermal camera can't see through it. A shortwave infrared thermal camera can. And what you're going to see in the video in a minute, an example. It's quite a short video, so apologies for that. Might go back and show that one again. This video is a normal thermal camera, and then the next image you see is the SWIR camera in exactly the same location. So hopefully this will work. Go back. So I appreciate that's a quick video. So that is a normal thermal camera in the same location, and then we've switched the imagery to the SWIR. So it's the same scene, same time of day, same amount of fog and mist, but as you can clearly see from the SWIR, it's completely cut that out. So again, different environment, different example, used for different products. But all coming back to this multi-sensor platform. So what are we trying to say and what we're trying to get across today about thermal cameras is, and I think I said it to a gentleman today that was already talking to, if you went back 2 or 3 years' time, it would almost be, this is the thermal camera, will this fit your application? Now it's what is your application, and we will fit a thermal camera to that. So most of these systems are almost ending up being bespoke. They're physically being made and tailored for you. Because it's a very, very modular system again, you can change, as I say, pretty much most of the bits left, right, and obviously you can still add stuff on the top as well. It doesn't even have to be a radar. Other items can be added to the top of the system. But again, you're combining it all as one unit. Touched on acoustic hailers a bit earlier on and showed a photo. This one is a 1 kilometre acoustic hailer. So again, it's half the size, half the distance. Again, on the left-hand side. Then you've also got a visible camera on there with an illuminator. So again, just mix and matching the actual platforms that we can offer. There we go, right, that's better. So that's showing you a better example of the 120 meter illuminator. Again, this is a very, very small illuminator. We have illuminators that can do up to 10 kilometers. So there's some very, very powerful ones out there. Obviously, with illuminators and laser dazzlers and things like that, you have to be careful where they're sold around the world. Laser dazzlers, for example, are banned in the UK because if they look at you for long enough, they can blind you. So yes, it's a massive deterrent, but obviously there are risks involved as well. Another massive market at the moment, and obviously with everything that's going on in the world, a huge growing market at the moment are drones and drone detection. Now, thermal cameras, again, are being used more and more for the drone market. Again, getting back, and I keep saying it, but we're going to keep coming back to it, the multi-sensor platform. So with this unit now, on the left-hand side, we've got somebody else's radar, a completely different radar to the ones we've shown before. We've still got our thermal camera on the left-hand side. We've still got our visible on the right-hand side, but now we've got RF jammers underneath. So now we're jamming the frequency of the drone. That's one thing that we can do with the drone, and as we go through it, what we show is that also with the drone, we can do return to base. So we can jam the drone and send a signal to the drone to say, go back to where you came from, go back to who's controlling it. What we can then do with that is we can then send our own drone up via our thermal camera system and the whole system to then follow that drone. So you've probably heard about the incidents that happened in the UK with Gatwick, where a drone stopped Gatwick for almost a day and a half. No flights in or out. What we could have done in that situation is we would have sent a signal to that drone, sent it back to him or her who's flying it from their vehicle. or wherever, and our drone would follow it and show images of those people and catch them in the act. For other areas of Europe and the world, what we can also do is hard kill. Again, we're not allowed to do that in the UK, but in some countries you can do hard kill, and that quite simply means it just kills it dead. So it will fall directly out of the sky. For obvious reasons, that's not always liked in most countries, especially if they're carrying payloads. That could be quite dangerous, but it is an option. Other options, again, it says there, you've got actions and mitigation, so you can do lots of different things. The point that we're trying to make here is that, as you can see from the image in the top, in the middle there, sorry, that's captured on a 960mm thermal. So it's a very, very big lens. It's HD quality, but it's capturing a drone at 2 kilometers. There are some systems at the moment that can do 3.5 kilometers. We would always recommend that it's backed up with a radar. But again, this can all be done. On the right-hand side, it's just showing you a physical image of the unit that's obviously tracking that drone. Future capabilities. Now, this is where, and it was said in the introduction, where thermal cameras and the thermal market has changed so much, even in the last 6 months. Everybody knows that megapixel cameras, high-definition cameras for visible have been around a long time. In the thermal market, they haven't. In the thermal market, they were blobs a couple of years ago. It was hard to tell a person from a person, an animal from an animal, a vehicle from a vehicle. The quality of the thermal cameras has changed rapidly. And one of the biggest issues with thermal cameras at the moment, and it's a real sort of bugbear for people who are buying the cameras, who are installing the cameras and maintaining the cameras, is what we call a cooled camera or an uncooled camera. Now, in simple layman's terms, if a thermal camera has a cooler, that means it has a part in there which is almost sort of on a clock as it's ticking down. Most coolers have a 10,000 hour lifespan, some have 20,000 hours, some even go up to 50,000 hours. But what happens is once those hours run out, the cooler will stop working and your image will go. So this is a part that needs replacing, and this is a part that needs changing. That doesn't sound much of an issue until you think that this could be on a 50-metre tower, 30-metre tower in the middle of nowhere. These are return-to-base items for all thermal camera manufacturers. It takes anything from 4 to 6 weeks to do the cooler service, to replace it and send it back. So that's not ideal, and it's also quite expensive. Cost-effective, as most salespeople would say, but it is expensive. So there's been a big push in the industry for thermal cameras to move across to uncooled cameras. Now, uncooled cameras, as it says, has no cooler. So there's no servicing, there's no return to base, and they are pretty much maintenance-free. The only issue with an uncooled camera is currently they cannot see as far as a cooled camera, which is why we use cooled cameras, because we can get bigger lenses. Now, this is the part of the market that's changed rapidly, because not only were the lenses a lot bigger on cooled and the uncooled were quite small lenses, also the quality of the uncooled cameras was nowhere near the quality of the cooled cameras. And what I mean by that is you can see on the screen that the one that it's showing there is saying it's 1280 by 1024 definition for the thermal camera, which is HD. If you're into your visible cameras, that's the sort of resolution you're expecting. That wasn't what you were getting on thermal, and uncooled or even cooled for quite some time. Now it's a given on cooled cameras and you can get that quality, but this image and this video you're going to see is from an uncooled camera. Also, the lenses on the uncooled cameras used to go up to about 75, 105mm max. So this video that I'm going to show is actually from a 225mm, sorry, from a 150mm, but we can now go up to a 225mm on the uncooled. And we're currently in the processes of testing of 300. So again, the lenses now are getting bigger and uncooled, but you've got rid of all of that maintenance cost, all of that burden, but you've also now got HD quality. Again, it sounds a bit weird if you're talking to people who are into visible camera security because they're expecting HD quality on everything, but to have a thermal with HD quality is a big thing moving forward. So this video, I'll let it run through because I think it's a couple of minutes. This is just showing you the uncooled camera. So it's a 150mm lens. That building that's in the background there in the middle is about 2.5, 3 kilometers away. So again, just giving you an indication of the sort of distances that the smaller uncooleds can do. But what you'll notice now is it looks more like a mono image. It does not look like a thermal image. Yes, we can turn it into the funky colours that you have if you've seen the Predator films and all the rest of it. But for us, we use either black hot or white hot. So this is showing this image. But you can see now the detail, the cars moving around. You can see people walking. Oh, I'll put that one back. You can see people walking around, say cars moving. You can even see the oil tankers in the background as well. So it's a very, very detailed image and a very, very crisp image. So again, technology on thermals rapidly changing. So the lenses are getting bigger, you're going to be seeing further distances, but the physical cost of the lens and the upkeep and the servicing of the lens has obviously changed, which makes a big difference to our market. That's, as I say, about 2.5, 3 kilometres. Just wait for this one to finish. So this one is from a cooled camera, which is a much, much bigger lens. And what you'll notice is straight away you think that the image is nowhere near as good quality as the one you've just seen. That's because it is still HD, but this is at 67 kilometres. So now you can see there's a massive difference with the cooled camera. So that's almost 35 miles for those that deal in miles or kilometres. This one a little bit closer, so 12 kilometres, which is a short distance for us. But again, this is a cooled camera. You can just about see the heat haze. Hopefully you can see that from the back there. Of the airport, but what you're seeing is that it's the detail that you're now being able to pick out. Again, it does not look like a thermal camera, it looks more like a mono camera, which is what we're leaning towards. So it's sort of twofold really. You can't get the distances of very long distances that you want with uncooled, but you can get the quality. With cooled, you can definitely have the quality and you can definitely get the distances. But that gap between how far up the uncooleds can go and how far the cooled can go is obviously changing, and that's a big change for the market because, as I say, to give you an idea, a 10,000 hour cooler to replace it, change it, send it back, even a standard one's about £30,000 to do that. And if it's 10,000 hours, that's every year. Most customers are not going to want to do that. We wish they would from a sales point of view, but it's not something they want to do. And for us, it's something that the market's turning away from where we can. Obviously, on all of them, you can't. If it has to be cooled, it has to be cooled. There's nothing wrong with cooled cameras, but it's just so you are fully aware of the reasons why. Moving on for future capabilities, and again, something that's been asked a lot today, is analytics. So again, analytics always sits away from thermal cameras currently. They're never normally embedded within the head, like they are on a normal camera. They're never normally with the system. It's normally by third party. The future is changing on that. So currently they are still third party, but moving forward they're going to be built in and just make life a lot easier for the end users and customers like yourself. So this particular video that we're going to show is what we call advanced tracking and auto classification. So this is on a visible camera, and what the video will show, again, it's a very, very short video, so apologies for that, I'll probably play it twice. But what this one is doing is we have asked this one to track a jet ski because we're in a harbour and we're looking for the lovely jet ski riders who love them or hate them, cause a few issues at the moment. So what this video will do is it'll highlight the fact that is a jet ski. I appreciate you can't read the text, but it does actually say jet ski above the jet ski. It will also highlight the pleasure boat and we'll say pleasure boat above that. And it's also highlighting the tanker in the background and it's classifying that as well. And you'll see other boats in the video as well. So again, we've asked it to track the jet ski and that's what it's doing, but it's still auto-classification and identifying the other units within the field of view as well. So quite a short video, that one. Let's just play that one again. He said. There you go. So again, it's just another area for the thermal industry, another area for the multi-sensor platform. So again, the days of where it was just a thermal camera and that's all it's done have gone. It's moved on greatly. The next video, you saw a little still frame of it earlier. So this is our 960mm lens, which is currently our second biggest thermal lens. We now do a 1000mm HD lens, but this is tracking, as it says there, a helicopter at 10 kilometers. Now, that's via our own software and something that we have built in, which again, we are growing and changing. But again, it's showing you the capabilities of what's possible with thermal cameras. You wouldn't even see that on a day camera. So again, the thermal has noticed that and the thermal has picked that up. Still on future capabilities and getting near the end, but just to show where it's going for the future. So there's something coming from the market which is called NextOS, and basically it's getting back to what I was saying about the actual software being built into the cameras and the platforms itself. Most thermal cameras on the market obviously have an internal PTU, pan tilt zoom unit, and it's actually quite dumb. So what we mean by that is it will take the images in, it will move the camera around, left, right, up, down, but then it would just send those images to a VMS, to a C2 platform, or to a third-party software. In the very near future, there's quite a few companies on the market who are looking to do smart, intelligent PTUs. So now, analytics, video processing, edge capabilities, VMS, et cetera, could be placed within the physical PTU unit itself. There's also a massive move towards adding lots and lots of different software, motion detection, line crossing, all this sort of stuff that's normally associated with visible cameras but hasn't been associated with thermal. But now there's a move to put that within the thermal camera industry. So these will go from being a dumb PTU to being a smart, intelligent PTU. Hopefully, if things go the way they should go, it's almost going to get to the point where these particular units will be almost like an Apple iPhone. So it will have a particular version of software on there, a particular version of firmware on there. As things are added in the future, as things change, they're about to literally do an upgrade. So just like your iOS, whatever we're on now, 16, whatever level we're on now, you'll be able to do that with the thermal camera market moving forward. So again, exciting times for thermal. It's changed a lot. Appreciate it's probably not half an hour speech, so apologies for that. But just wanted to get across the basics of the fact that, thermal cameras are really, really changing. The quality is improving day by day, week by week. Whereas they were usually just used for medium to long-term projects or medium to long positions and distance projects, they're now being used for a lot smaller commercial sites, more perimeters, processing plants, et cetera. We're even doing houses and estates, and you name it, we're doing it. So again, there's a massive range that we can do now, from very, very small to very, very big. Our smallest camera would do 0.5 kilometre of detection. Our biggest camera currently would do 70 kilometres. So again, there's probably 400 different variants within that. So it's a massive, massive market. As said earlier as well, so thank you very much. If you do have any questions, more than happy to take them here, or if you want to come over to the booth, entirely up to you. But thank you very much.
Thank you. There are some elephant in the room questions.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. One is there any surveillance for the surveillance, knowing how very expensive this equipment is? Because like we're hearing now legends that in Sweden there's 10 speed cameras gone and being used on drones somewhere in a war in Ukraine. So surveillance on surveillance.
Surveillance
here for these very, very, very expensive equipments you have.
Some of them are very expensive. I mean, the top end is obviously expensive because of what it's doing, but the baby ones are very, very reasonably priced. So they start off very low and go very, very big. So it's entirely up to you. However, to answer one of your questions, we do actually have quite a few sites where our bigger systems are actually monitored by our smaller cameras. Mm-hmm. So again, they are literally looking at the bigger systems to make sure no one's interfering with them, they're protected, they're looked after, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I mean, they can go up in value quite drastically, or they can start very, very low.
And are these cameras and systems are also built to use privately?
Yes, weirdly, it started off with millionaires, for obvious reasons, because of the price.
But any regulations on that? Because like 2, 10, 60 kilometers?
You have different regulations depending on what country you're in. We've done one recently in the UK for a millionaire who actually drones in his grounds. So if you were to try and break into his house, jump over his fence, drones will be alerted by the cameras and come to your area, and then warnings will be issued and all the rest of it. So this is a very, very large private residential property. And there are rules, definitely. Most of the cameras have to be focusing within the property rather than looking out. Or if they do look out, they can't look at public roads, they can't look in people's windows, so you've got black. But that applies to normal CCTV as well. And the same rules apply with thermal. It's just obviously thermal can see a lot further.
No, I mean, the range is just amazing. And
Yeah.
then are you saying that the drone problem at the airports are solved now?
If they take it up and buy it, yes. But yeah, it can be solved now, and they are solving it, and they're working their way through it. But drones are a real issue. They have been in the UK. I say at Gatwick, it stopped it for a day and a half. So, but they are working with different companies and different manufacturers to sort that. There is a way of doing it. Over here in other countries like this, it's a lot easier because we can do more. We can do laser dazzlers. We can kill the drone. We can return it to base. In the UK, there's a lot more restrictions. In France, there's a lot more restrictions. Again, it's different for each country.
And one very unpolite question, any orders or purchases from war zones?
Yes, we have to be really careful with war zones because, again, if it's classed as a war zone, we can't export thermal cameras to them.
But you can't make sure that it doesn't end there.
Yes. I mean, we've done sites where it's then become a war zone, and certain countries obviously not too far away, but we can't do ones in physical conflict currently.
But you can't make sure that they end up in the war zone, even not bought from war.
Yeah, there are real strict restrictions. So if I was to sell it to you and then you were to sell it on to another country, then there are real strict laws about that, because obviously that's not something you should be doing, because it's all export controlled.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you. And a little present and a little diploma from us.
Thank you. Oh.
Our next speaker represents the company who will give away twice a €50 gasoline or diesel cards at the end of this day, if you will stay, of course. So Imants is the person who joined the team of Neste Latvia in 2018. He was supporting daily processes in the station network, and later switched to ensuring the safety of the Riga terminal in everyday processes, logistics and trainings of contractors and subcontractors. And he will be speaking on Neste's approach to various complex projects, which followed in both local and global projects. So you will see onboarding in some cases also. So please welcome Neste Latvia Environmental and Safety Specialist, responsible person for safety and business continuity, Imants Barons. Welcome to the stage. Here's the clicker.
Hello there. Ladies and gentlemen, it is actually it's a pleasure to be here today to speak with you all. So, yes, this title is a bit long, and of course it is a bit maybe misunderstood, because there is this word of a standard, and usually when this comes along, there are multiple standards in multiple countries, and we don't know which standards to apply on a specific basis. However, there is this general approach. So I'm coming from Neste corporate side, and this structural project management is one thing that you can consider whenever you are in a project. So today in this summit, there are a lot of wonders out there, so a lot of great technology. And for you as a specialist of this, all of these wonders are great to get. But today's thing will be a bit more about the approach, how I would invite you to think about them. But before we start, I'm coming from a company Neste. So Neste, in a nutshell, is a bigger company than you might think. Maybe coming to this summit, you went across Neste service station, where there is refueling possibilities, where there is windshield wash fluid and so on and so forth. But Neste is also creating aviation fuel. So a lot of airlines are using actually the product which is made by Neste. So this SAF, this Neste renewable aviation fuel, is quite popular because Neste is a leader in global market of this aviation fuel. So what's actually the purpose of my company? Our purpose is to create a healthier planet for our children. And how do we actually commit to this is that we have a synthetic diesel made in Next BTL process. It is a rather interesting process, and actually you take more than 12 sorts of sorts of wastes and residual things that are from different processes and combine them into the diesel product, which is actually sold also to our market under this trend name Neste. Of course, it's rather expensive at today's market, even at today's market. So hopefully it will get cheaper, and soon we will not use the oil, but use just the waste and residues from other companies and other industries. A bit of a context to put this in perspective. So about Neste, there are more than 4.8 thousand people working for Neste, and one of them is me. So also this middle figure, which you can see there, 10.9 megatons of greenhouse gas emissions was avoided just in 2021 using this actually breakthroughs in chemistry. And yes, there is this some finance figure if needed. So, as I said, usually when you hear name Neste, you think about the service station, but we are a bit more than that, and we are expanding globally. So we have this Central Europe branch, which on top of some fuel products are also heavily involved in polymers. And we have an Asian branch, and we have United States branch, and also this we have our office in Australia. So not just a local Baltic trend, but more or less a global company. So I'm a safety specialist from Neste, and what does safety actually mean? So how I usually try to think about this is that safety, security, environmental aspects, they go all hand in hand, because actually we like to think that we will come to work and we will go home as safe as possible, back to our loved ones. And so a bit back. So before we go there, yes, there are these 6 general aspects which we like to protect. It's people, environment, operations, our assets, of course. Neste has vessels, trucks, and all sorts of assets involved in refining oil products, renewable products, and so on. And of course, the information. I guess all other speakers today talked about the cyber attacks and this artificial intelligence, which is gaining a lot more traction and have to be think about. But of course, we are also putting heavy emphasis on this information, and also to that sense, to our brand. And our vision is this only way towards zero injuries and incidents would be to have each day a safe working day. So yes, as previously mentioned, I'm coming from Riga terminal, and this is actually few examples from the global industry when something goes wrong in our industry. It's usually this catastrophic problems, and it's from Texas City, it's from India, it's from Buncefield, from Germany, from United States of America, and of course the United Kingdom. And all of these actually had more or less some problematic with this topic which I am presenting today. So how Neste in daily life is trying to help people which are working for us, our subcontractors, contractors, and our employees. So whenever you come to a Neste facility, you are educated on these 5 life-saving rules. So it's work at heights, confined spaces, equipment isolation, work permit, and of course traffic hazards. And why actually these 5 are chosen? Because in fuel industry there was a big, let's say, study coming from 2008 and up until 2017, and there all the fatalities were investigated, and these 5 things actually concluded 90% of human life. So all the fatalities, not all, but 90% of the fatalities can be avoided if we just stick to these 5 life-saving rules. And so we think about them, we talk about them, we teach about them, and we obey them in our daily routine. So this is the first part of structural approach. So 5 rules above all. Then, of course, this no harm together, it's the Neste slogan at the moment, and there is all of these 6 things in the middle. This environment, assets, brand, information, operations, and of course, most important, people. And we see safety not just as a priority, because usually it is the thing, safety first, and our priority is safety. No, we see safety as a precondition. As a precondition in our line of business, because without the safety, there is no point of actually continuing business. And this commitment to operational excellence, actually, and understanding the hazards and risks using multiple analysis and managing these risks as an opportunities. And later on, we are learning from this experience and sharing this experience with our other colleagues all around the world. So everyone can help to reach our goals. And there is this small video which I would like to present. Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, no problem. So this video is a great video, but it's of course promotional video. So we will do without that. So if we go further, a bit of a technical hustle here. Yes, so. Okay, this Operation Excellence, as mentioned earlier, we have this management system, as all companies which do have these ISO standards tend to have. And in this Operational Excellence, we have 16 principles. And these 16 principles are actually quite many. One of them are, for example, crisis management, which was mentioned here today. But there are a lot of other aspects: environmental management, operational safety, safe storage and transportation, as well as product chemical safety, and so on and so forth. But the one thing that actually gets less attention than it deserves is this management of change. And this management of change is a very broad subject. About that, you can read plenty of books, because this management of change, in the very beginning, it's very simple, but how to actually obey by all the standards and all the regulations and still have a good management of change. So you start with one situation and later on you are with a different situation with a working project. That's the biggest tackle of any new implementation. And of course this operational excellence goes into each execution of each project. So usually we tend to set vision, what will happen after we will complete this. So we have our objectives. Then we conduct assessments. We talk with professionals. We talk with professionals from actually the sales world, and they usually sell us wonders that everything will be okay if you take this and that. Unfortunately, it is not always the case. You have to be very critical of the wonders offered to you. In the same time, you need to have this strong development plan So sticking to the deadlines, sticking to the project, and sticking to your objectives and vision. And of course, when everything that is considered, and then you just execute and review. And this is last but not least to any project. But whenever you bring some idea to the table, it's usually this investment proposal in the beginning. So this first picture is not from Neste. And I am actually very grateful that it is not. So there is this small joke that, can you sum up this year's budget in one word? And there's help. Yeah, it's not from Neste, and it is put in bold there. But of course, whenever there is any need to change something, you have to give actually the insight why it's needed. So are there new risks? Are there new threats? Are the old system incapable of actually executing? And then you actually step into the second part, this middle part, so actual situation drawbacks and potential solutions. And then you have these heavy analysis, for example, action error analysis, layer of protection analysis, hazard operational study, and so on and so forth. And in that, you usually receive one heavy folder with 100 and plus pages of report of defining actually how are you doing. And this 100 and plus pages is usually far too long. And so people like colors, and they develop these risk matrices. So risk matrix is everything okay, you are in the green, that's great. Whenever you have heavy risks, you are more to the upright corner, and you're getting yellow, then orange, then red, and then you have some problematics. And of course, whenever you have this risk matrix, you're trying to tackle these red problems first, and all the yellow and orange problems just afterwards. But whenever you have this problem, this actually understanding that you need some changing, there is all sorts of wonders, as I said, that will solve each and every problem. And they do, but you have to think critically. So what is the actual real-life solution for your problem? Will you be able to execute it, support it? Will this expansion be enough? Will it not be an overkill to your problem? And this reliability and upgrading to the system which you already possess is the actual talking point to my today's presentation. And there are multiple associations out there that help with process safety fundamentals and with all sorts of risk assessments. And then this theoretical safety, which is more or less these risk matrices, is nothing without the practical part. And this practical part is the one where we as a professionals are working daily. So it is always up to us to be critical and to be actually closer to the real life, closer to the real operations, so that we would understand what would work, what would help, and in the opposite, what would actually be a very heavy system that is not feasible in our operations. And fail-safes for cybersecurity and confidentiality has become these must-haves for any critical infrastructure. And it is a bit interesting that for me as a safety professional from critical infrastructure, today we have this summit and we can talk with other safety professionals. But as one of the speakers already mentioned, the world is changing, and we have to talk about these hot potatoes, and we cannot leave them just laying there. Then a different approach, actually, which ties in with this management of change. This is this 6-step process, heavily familiar in process safety and in all sorts of investment projects which are large scale, for example, refinery expansions, and so on and so forth. So there are just 6 steps, and in the very beginning you think it's it's not much. I can do this. Of course, there are multiple things that you have to be able to do beneath each and every this step. For example, the first step, which I would invite to use, is this preliminary hazard study. So you are looking at the risks on a broad stage. Then this major hazard study. So you are taking these major risks and actually expanding them deeper. You are looking on actual initiating events that might cause them. Then this process detailed hazard analysis. Then you are looking to actually correct all of this. And fourth step is this construction HSE studies. And of course, then you are actually on this go live stage where then you follow up and you have this commissioning. And later on the sixth step, you have this post-startup review and lessons learned. Again, a bit of a heavy slide on the text. I do apologize about that. But very briefly, here are all the smaller things which go into actually planning a change in a refinery or any process safety, process safety expansion. So in the middle, we have this process safety event. So this is this major risk for which we are preparing. And on the left side, we actually have all the threats expanded. And we look on the barriers, on the layers of protection actually, which is limiting this threat actually coming to our process safety site and actually initiating this incident. And then on the right side, you can see a lot of mitigations. So the event is already ongoing, and then we'll just look on what are the barriers which will reduce the consequences. And there are usually a lot of firefighting measures, passive and active, and so on and so forth. And of course, this layout risk analysis in the designing phase usually help a lot when something terrible or catastrophic is prone to happen. So actually, security aspect in Neste, on everyday aspect of the operations, is so we have this physical security part, and we have crisis management, this travel security and employment screening, security threats and incident management, investigations and key personnel, and project security. And on top of all of that, we have this these key things that we usually think whenever there is a problem with the security, this situation of awareness. We have to be on top of any situation, and we need a prompt information. Security risk management, then this Neste Group security standards and instructions, which are actually giving some insight on how this is tackled globally on a European level, and what is the experience, for example, coming from America. And then, of course, when everything is set and done, there are these audits, self-assessments, when we actually look how are we doing and where are we now. And always an audit will come and find something to improve. So here is one, for example, audit self-assessment example. Usually there is just slight problems which can be seen in red, but usually they are things that are left alone. And for example, sometimes those are the problems which are actually the most important ones and have to be tackled for a good business continuity. Then, of course, this management of change, as I said, plenty of books has been written about it, and where is actually this point of having this management of change, because that's too much to think that every change is something that we have to consider and we have to think about. But there is this Seveso directive in the European Union, which is actually giving some insight. And at the moment, there is this third Seveso already from 2018. And there are multiple these sites committed to this management of change on daily processes. So there is this prevention, preparedness, and lessons learned. And this actually goes hand in hand with this civil defense, which we have quite heavy in our country and in our critical infrastructure. And this Seveso directive is actually straight explanation why do we need management of change and why we need to think about what and how are we changing before we do that. Yes, so something to think about, just 3 bullet points, not that heavy slide. So this change management, so all projects require people to be open-minded and honest to each other, and they require a lot of people. They do not require only the safety professionals. They do not require only HSE people. They require people which are on the front lines of actually operational execution. And only then a project can be worthy and can be well executed. And any change will be a mess in the beginning, hustle in the middle, and a masterpiece once it's finalized. But whenever people try to think about these changes, they are concentrating on the worst aspects. So this mess which is in the beginning, and this hustle which there will be a lot of work to do. But my actually thought, which I would like to resonate with you, is that think about the end product, think about the masterpiece which you will create. And remember that there is no silver bullet, there is no wonders that will resolve each and every problem right off the bat. It just doesn't work that way in a real life situation, no matter who and what is selling you the idea. And if something can do everything, there is always a catch. So maybe it will be very complicated. For example, first 2 speakers talked about artificial intelligence, and we saw the, let's say, insights of that. So if you have so capable people, that's great in your company, but if not, then you have to think twice, is this all-out artificial intelligence is actually what you need? Any questions?
Yes, please. Any questions? I have a warm-up question. I know maybe that's not your area, but still, some obvious question. There were times when, for example, in gas stations, you were not allowed to use any mobile phones. It was one of the signs, don't. Now, these days, also, Neste has a great application to be used. Mm-hmm. It should take a mobile phone. What's the difference? What has changed?
Actually, nothing has changed a lot. You can use a mobile phone inside of your car, and that's actually the guidelines which we would recommend, how you open up the nozzle in the station. However, usually people tend to get out of their cars with the mobile phone, already speaking on it, then trying to go into this application. So there still is this sign that you cannot use mobile phone, and that's not the thing that you would think. It's not because the radio signal will cause vapors to explode. You have a very sensitive device in your hand, and in this device you have a lithium-ion battery, which when catching a breath of air will ignite in a very beautiful but very dangerous explosion, small scale. And if there will be a gasoline vapor, all station will cause a big bang, actually.
That would be a very magnificent, especially if I'm using that application on my motorcycle with a gas tank between my legs.
Yeah, so you have to be very, very careful using this on a motorcycle. So we are still using the cards, so that's a more safer approach.
I know. Yeah. That's why I wanted to know. Sorry for a question off topic.
Great,
yes.
Great
Any
question.
other particularly very practical questions? Well, thank you. And thank you for helping out with the prizes for the lottery. Thank you, Imants. Yes, by the way, on that lottery, as you can see, prizes are already lined up. Only those who will be present in the room will be eligible to get those prizes taken away. So those numbers I'm talking about, the lottery ticket numbers, are on the tickets with QR code. There's a ticket code that will be your lottery ticket number. Now, we will have some 20 minutes for exhibition, for workshop, which is ongoing now. And let's have some little break. We'll be back in 20 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. This is a round of applause to find out how many of you are back. Oh, really? Oh, come on. Yeah, please, please. I mean, clap, please. Thank you. Yeah, I know. It's getting tough. Yeah, it's a long day and hard work, but we are closing in to the closing and fun part of the event. Although, this is interesting that we are putting together more and more different things with security. We will be talking on insurance right now, because Aigars Freimanis sees daily how lack of security causes insurance claims. And that costs a lot of money for everyone involved. I guess we'll talk about general trends in the field of insurance in the coming years, so we know what to expect. And then in situations where security measures are not enough, the insurance is the one to talk about. So please welcome Compensa Vienna Insurance Group ADB Latvian Branch Manager Aigars Freimanis.
Hello.
And he's on stage. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, colleagues, and also partners as well. Yeah. So today we'll not sell anything about insurance. Just will tell one thing, what we see, what's going on currently, yeah, and why also insurance is actually has something common with security technologies. So, a little bit about me. My name is Aigars Freimanis. I'm representing Compensa Vienna Insurance Group, which is a leading insurance group in Central and Eastern Europe. Yeah. So in Baltic we are number 1. Yeah, in Ukraine, we were number 3. Of course, Austria, Poland, Czech, we are number 1. Yeah. So, let's go probably further. This is not the interesting thing, but what is interesting? So, every one of us would like to be and feel safe. Yeah? That's why there is a job for security guys like you. Yeah? But one thing, even if we feel safe, yeah, and all the measures are done, we face everyday risk, yeah, because there are traffic accidents, there are storms, there are fire, yeah, there are shortcuts, yeah, and we are talking about risk management not only on the corporate side in companies but as well in our private life, yeah, and we are choosing route to the work, transport. Etc., etc. We are choosing how we protect our homes, yeah. And if you have private building, you are thinking maybe I need fence, yeah, because otherwise everyone can access my yard, yeah, and actually steal, I don't know, my grilling machine, yeah. So, and actually there are just 2 things in risk management, yeah. Okay, my previous colleague from Neste told about this kind of risk assessments and stuff like that. But yeah, if we done already with that, yeah, there are two ways how to control risk. It is a physical control and financial control. In financial control, we can accept losses ourselves, yeah. And if something happens, to borrow from neighbor, to go to the bank, to borrow money, or to finance with your own cash, or to mitigate risk with the insurance, yeah. And for physical control, again, we have 2 options. Physical measures, yeah, I think to build the fence, to separate the buildings, to separate production from storehouse, to build kind of brand wall, yeah, to kind of restrict fire. Yeah, then there are security measures, which today is a main focus, yeah, cameras, yeah, smoke detectors, etc., etc., and processual measures, how we do things. Yeah. because also by changing of how we do things, we can reduce the risk. And it is so that insurance cannot exist without risk reduction, because simply if risk is not protected, we cannot take financial risk on ourselves. We cannot accept insurance, and no one can mitigate this risk. Yeah? For example, if you have car and you leave the car keys in your car, we cannot insure, yeah? Because we demand you to keep keys here, yeah, in pocket. And preferable, yeah, also this immobilizer a bit separately, yeah, so that if somebody is stealing your key from the pocket, yeah, then still car is not available for thieves, yeah. And in industry is the same. If there is for example, sawmills, yeah, we cannot take sawmills as for fire insurance because there is a very, very bad statistic. It is a just fact. Every year, sawmills are burning down. Why? Because there is chips, yeah, from wood, yeah, and unfortunately, when this gets dry, yeah, fire starts very easily, yeah. And we ask just to sprinkler or to install certain security systems. So there are many of them. Of course, everything depends on type of the business, type of the risk. Yeah, for example, if there is some kind of company which do a lot of with electronic and which can be damaged from the water, yeah, we always ask these kind of flood detectors. Yeah, yeah. If there is a specific, I don't know, usually for hotels, yeah, you know, for 5-star hotels, this is a must-have sprinkler systems. Yeah, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, video cameras, and especially like, for example, this Valmiera stiklaskedra, which is a very kind of specific production, yeah, cameras which can detect even 0.1 grad increase in this heating dome where this kind of liquid glass is heated, yeah, because there might be explosion, and then of course Valmiera city disappears, yeah. So, but about trends, and this is actually just fact, yeah. We see that our actually insurance claims recently in 8 months in Baltic are growing more than inflation rate. What does it mean? It means that sooner or later we have to go to the clients saying, sorry, we need to get a bit more money because actually we are not charity organizations, yeah. Are also our owners would like to have some profit, yeah. But if we see that claims are growing extremely rapidly, yeah, like that, yeah, and this is a fact. And I will tell afterwards why it is so, yeah. I splitted, this is a total claims. Oh, back, should learn how to use it, yeah. But I splitted, for example, casco claims, motor claims, yeah, where is a collision, thefts, and stuff like that. Yeah, for example, Lithuania plus 30%, Latvia 25%, Estonia 24%, far above inflation rate. Yeah, again, why this? Because of spare parts, because of war, because of COVID, lockdown. Factories were not capable to deliver and produce in proper time spare parts. You have to stay for certain kind of car models, 2-3 months in a queue to wait for your spare part, yeah? And we'll tell afterwards also trend in Estonia, car theft started because no one would like to kind of stay in queue for 3 months. There is a demand in the market and of course thieves start to use this, yeah? So, property claims, yeah, Lithuania crazy, 38% increase. 21 Latvia, 7 in Estonia yet. Yeah. Overall impact for the insurance industry, yeah, you see non-life business, we are paying almost 200,000 euro in claims in Latvia, 325 million in Lithuania, 190 in Estonia. Yeah. But this is actually all non-life products, motor insurance, property insurance, liability insurance, as well as health insurance. Yeah? But actually main drivers is motor and property. Yeah? And actually if nothing change, I would say and most probably there will not be changes in this trend, insurance will become more expensive. Yeah, sorry, but there is a way to kind of reduce it. Yeah, by improving safety measures, by investing into safety. By investing into safety technologies, risk is reducing, yeah, for client as well as for us. So, what also other thing is interesting, yeah? I don't have Baltic statistics, sorry. I have just about Latvia. We have 6,700 fire cases a year, every year, yeah? It is a bit reducing comparing to 2000, for example, 14, but this is a fact, yeah? However, yeah, the so-called claims paid or claims amount are growing, and this is due to inflation. Yeah. What is a maybe good trend? Also, theft cases, and I took from Latvian Central Statistic Committee this data. We see there is a nice reduction. However, I see that the claims amount is growing because thieves are less stealing in resident buildings. Thieves are doing more organized crime, stealing. For example, 2 years ago you heard about €5 million case, yeah, where close to Riga airport there was huge theft of electronic spare parts. Yeah, thieves are getting more and more concentrated on this kind of big things. Yeah, in our history, the biggest theft was with claims amount €300,000. It was also electronics. Yeah. So the number of car thefts until 2021 reduced very nicely. Why? Because cars are getting newer and systems newer. And if in the past thief had to be master to kind of adjust key lock and drive the car, nowadays is a bit, no, this will be different. Nowadays there is a keyless cars, and you cannot anymore to use this kind of former skills of thieves. Yeah, now you have to use technology. Yeah, now you have to buy currently for certain money specific technique to kind of catch the code and to kind of drive the car away. Yeah. We have also video, but I will not show first stolen car in Latvia with this kind of specific technique. That was Mercedes-Benz. For thieves, it took 30 seconds. Yeah, but again, this is a specific knowledge. Yeah, they have to be hackers more than classical thieves. Yeah. And then last trend I got from Estonia, actually 2 days ago, message that there is a huge number of stolen cars, and especially SUVs, SUV cars. Yeah, Toyota Land Cruiser seems there is a demand in Ukraine and not only. Yeah. And also signs in Lithuania, there were increased costs for car repair for certain mark and model cars. There is also increased demand, for example, for Kia cars, which were actually never been stolen. Yeah, it was not interesting. Now it's vice versa. So, yeah. Why this kind of claims amounts are growing? This is simply because inflation. You see in Estonia 25, Latvia, Lithuania 21. Yeah, everything gets more expensive. But if we talk about property damages, and this is a fact, this kind of inflation for construction materials is far away from regular inflation, which is driven by this kind of electric energy costs and stuff like that. And most probably this will not stay at this moment, because in some stage war in Ukraine will end, and there will be need for rebuilding of destroyed cities. Yeah? And we need to be prepared that if there is a property loss, this will cost quite a lot. And also as a security managers, you have to kind of dig into that risk, and especially to check if property is insured properly, if there is no underinsurance. This is nowadays is very important. Yeah? Because saving on insurance with insuring lower value, yeah, there might be catastrophic losses if there is a claim. Yeah. So, yeah, this is what I'm telling. Yeah. No more keys. Yeah. No more need competencies for classical kind of guys. Yeah. Just hackers. Yeah. And question is, when this kind of systems will cost at the level which will be available for normal, regular thieves. Yeah. Currently, it costs 10,000, 20,000 euro, depending on mark and model. Yeah. So, okay, there we came to one business case, because actually usually insurance is very boring, and we are sticking mostly with insurance cases. And there was an insured shopping mall, which actually, of course, when we insuring this kind of objects, we ask always a certain kind of protection, and in this time there were protection that the video cameras installed around the territory, and there were smoke detectors inside, and everything was located to kind of internal security room, yeah, where there was constantly 24/7 security guard sitting and monitoring. Yeah. From one side, it looks okay, quite more or less nice risk. Maybe building was not that new, a bit kind of outdated, but still, yeah. It happened so that they were at the night coming thieves. Yeah, we see 2 at night, 2:06:11 minutes. Yeah. They kind of load out the welding machine, and their target was to kind of steal money from automatic teller machine. Yeah. We see that actually they started to use this welding machine. They broke the window. Yeah. They got to this ATM and started to kind of cut with the welding machine this ATM lock down. Yeah. We see this is a 30 minutes, guys are working here, looking. Yeah, not minutes, seconds. Sorry. Then generally in 2 minutes 70 seconds, 2 minutes 70 seconds, it took them to to kind of cut the kind of lock from the automatic teller machine and take out cash boxes to put in the car. Yeah. 28 you see, and to drive away. Yeah, nice job. Of course, the camera was not properly working. Maybe safety guard was sleeping, but he definitely heard smoke detectors doing alarm. Yeah, and he came in 7 minutes. You see, in 7 minutes 20 seconds. Find out that, okay, there is a fact, yeah, no money in, window is broken. Yeah, he started to call. He was walking around, calling. Yeah, it took about 3 minutes him to kind of do necessary calls, most probably to the owners. Then owners gave certain instructions what to do. And that's it. And afterwards he kind of went away. So since he kind of visited the site, in 10 minutes, yeah, we see already first, probably in this picture we cannot see, but generally in 10 minutes afterwards, fire brigade came and started to extinguish fire. Yeah. Now this is the outcome. Direct property lost 250,000 euro, and not only. Yeah, because this kind of security kind of ward was organized by owner of the building. We, of course, covered this kind of property loss. But then what happened? 2 tenants who lost their property, and also insurance companies who paid insurance claims for tenants, they recourse claims against the landlord. And landlord did not have liability insurance, because landlord was liable because he arranged this kind of security. He was not outsourcing. So, and what we learned here, no, of course, security measures are key. Yeah, reaction time, this is key, but reaction time doesn't give anything if guard is not trained what to do. Yeah, because it was easy to take fire extinguisher and just to extinguish the fire at initial stage. Yeah. So, no, this is training of staff. Yeah. Then sum insured of the property. In that time, it was good that sum insured for property was enough. Yeah. But nowadays we saw this huge construction material inflation, and we need to evaluate. Yeah. If sum insured is enough to rebuild. Yeah. Otherwise, there will be huge gap to be borrowed from the bank, or that will be financial loss for the organization. So then next thing, when we see this kind of type of damage, there is a certain time to rebuild. It usually takes half year when you confirm all projects and stuff like that. Business interruption, yeah, loss of rent, is it insured? Yeah, that can be insured. We provide this. Yeah, and the last one I already mentioned, liability insurance. So, I'm done.
Yeah, you like left everyone thinking, what is my situation? Am I insured or underinsured? What about liabilities to the tenants and so on? Yeah. Because it's amazing how all these systems are kind of in place and still this happens. Because that's what I wanted to ask. How these days people can steal like millions of equipment and then these systems doesn't work? Are they is that some inside job or something?
Most probably, because no, this is a too brave without no kind of pre-examination to do this kind of theft. Yeah, they kind of knew about a local security guard. Yeah, firstly that there is not, for example, G4S, which would arrive and shoot these guys, you know, and stuff like that. And actually, what we see in our cases, yeah, I mentioned about this 300,000 euro theft of electronic. There was a case that there was a storehouse where thieves knew where are this kind of moving detectors are located. They kind of drilled down the hole and they kind of glue they painted this kind of moving detectors, and then they were free to kind of unlock doors and act to remove everything, yeah, most valuable, of course.
So real professionals.
Yeah, yeah.
That's when you come in and you think, wow, congratulations, great job.
Yeah. But again, if using, for example, instead of moving detectors, cameras, yeah, then there is already kind of alarm to guard that there is something wrong, that camera cannot detect anymore. Yeah, no, there are still opportunities and possibilities. Yeah.
Are you consulting clients? So you're coming in and they want to insure something, and then you say, you know what, you have to do this, and then only.
Most of cases, yeah, because we cannot imagine to insure property which is not protected. Yeah.
Because in this case, it's like 2 minutes and no one even can hear and see that. That's a big trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's suspicious. Well, any other questions, please? Yes, here I go.
Thank you. Thank you very much for presentation. It's not a question actually. It's like in security area, if you work with let's say banks or the financial sector, they are hiring the geeks, computer geeks, to protect, let's say, probably insurance companies also have to hire some thieves with, to understand where the weakest points in a different kind. So you will get probably less losses and more income. So just an advice. Of course, it's a part of the joke, but have you heard that, I don't know, such situation, maybe it was applicable at the different companies? Maybe they use such approach. I'm not sure. Yeah.
So we're speaking like penetration tests. Do you have any penetration tests for your clients and something like that?
Yeah, we have in place also surveyor. Yeah, we have the same as in Neste in place, this kind of risk table, and based on this risk table, we set specific objective for annual surveys. Yeah, We provide them. Yeah, we visit customers. We do afterwards some kind of recommendations.
Yeah, but for example, do you hire someone to like break
if needed,
in?
Yes, there are. For example, we work with experts of firefighting. Mr. Valentins, for example, Buitis. Yeah, if we see that there is a case that there is a fire exposure to the customers. For example, for the biggest shopping malls, we hired specialists from Latvian Engineer Association to define what is a condition of the buildings, yeah, because we find out that there, after Maxima, there were this Maxima roof collapse. There were certain kind of risks as well, yeah.
All right, but you are not hiring criminals to break into the insured premises.
And actually, if there is, for example, damaged cars which are totally lost. We very carefully kind of following who is buying, yeah? No, this is checked by your security. We have also security, of course. Security guys who are actually professionals, yeah? They are doing investigations, yeah? And before we are selling this kind of damaged cars, we are very carefully checking these car repair shops who are buying, yeah? That the spare parts are not afterwards, no, for example, going somewhere where it is.
All right. Any other questions?
For example, engine number and then technical passport to steal car and then to put.
And you would be the ones to blame.
Yeah.
All right. Questions? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
Experienced corporate security manager who is competent in customer servicing, strategic planning, business development, project planning, and team management. So he will bring us back to the still important but sometimes sunken human factor. Because, yeah, as we saw, there is a guard, but he just stands there and wonders what's going on. So let's talk about security specialists as integral part of security. And Uģis Zač, Strong Point Customer Service Manager, lecturer at BA Turība, which is the business university. Welcome. Oh, come on, cheer up. Thank you.
1 1 1 1. Do you hear me?
You're on.
Great. Okay, I would like to start with one another thing. So I would like to start with the applause to yourself that you made it to the end, and I'm the last one speaker. So make it louder, louder, louder. Yeah, good, good. Oh, nice. Thank you, thank you. So okay, I'm very happy to be here today to see pretty much people and to talk about security specialist as integrational part. So basically, we will move forward. And one remark, I have some photos and images in the presentation, so if you find yourself there, or somebody of your relative, or maybe of your job, part of your job or something, just keep quiet, better. And it is taken from open sources, so we will see. Okay, so the topic for today is security specialist at integration part of security. But before that, I will start a little bit with my background, a small commercial break for the companies where I have been. So my experience, starting I'm in the industry of security, I'm starting from 2006. When I started just as a security guard in one of the biggest and leading companies of security in Baltics, Grifsaga. So quite a long time I was there and moving through positions, different positions, starting from security and going forward. So that's why I would say I have pretty not big, but pretty normal experience in security industry. So I can share you with some points and some ideas, and maybe you will take something out of this presentation. So then starting from 2014, I starting to be a lecturer in one of the leading business university, which is private business universities, Business University Turība. Yeah, so, and still I'm there. And this last year I took also challenge for myself, start to study myself also there. So I'm working on my PhD, so this is also a part of my life. And starting from 2019, I dramatically changed my profile and starting to be a customer service manager in Latvia in StrongPoint, which is a retail technology company which helps for retailers to sell better in a better way and better position. So, and also this year I'm joined at a pretty big project, Erasmus project, digital education tools for security risk management. Basically tools, a lot of different tools to help students and lecturers to get be on the same page, to be on the same way, and to get better education, better knowledges, and that's so. Okay, it was a small commercial. So, why we have this topic today? Why we talk about security specialists? So, if we look today's agenda and today's presentation and showroom and everything, so we see a lot of technologies, a lot of different ways how to secure your property, how to secure your business, your organization. So, and that all is very important, but it is not as good as it could be with a security specialist. Yeah? So basically, security specialist takes a pretty big role in this whole system. Yeah? So this is basically all system where you can need to talk and think about security specialist. So if we talk about security specialist as itself, so this is security specialist profile. I will show you two profiles. When you talk with somebody about security specialist, so what they see or how they understand how the security specialist looks. So one of the part is looking like this. You know this guy? Somebody knows him? Yeah? So somebody are thinking that security are like that way. Yeah? So this is not so good profile. Yeah? Always some troubles, always don't want to work, always doing some bad things. Yeah, and always asking to apologize him. Yeah, so this is one profile when you talk with regular guy who is not working in security industry. And another profile which very often came out is this guy, 2 meters long, with a lot of muscles. Yeah, and he knows how to throw out people, to know how to punch, kick, and everything. So yeah, and the most dangerous of this is the combination of two of this in each way. This is most dangerous combination if we talk about security. So for example, if you have the combination guy of security specialist, I don't know, or this or that or combination. So for example, you start your business, yeah? You start your business, you are thinking about, I don't know, production or something. You have your building, yeah? So first thing, of course, it's you need to have some fire alarm systems and everything what requires what is asked from the government. So this is normal things what you always do. So you start business and going on. But then comes in previous presentation, then comes this bad guy, the thief came in and broke into your business, and as very big part of people coming to security, it's after they have some problems, or somebody broke in, or somebody stole something, or have some problems. Yeah. So of course, and then this security specialist, which we saw in the previous slides, yes. Then he says, okay, somebody broke in, then we need to have what? We need to have security alarm system. Of course, it's right. Yes. After that situation. Okay, we're putting the most expensive, most valuable security system, and what happened next? Somebody again broke in. So if before we put an alarm system, we found out it only in the morning, so now we will receive SMS, or I don't know, application or something, or call that somebody broke in. Yeah, this is how it works. Okay, so next thing, okay, security system is not enough, so what we do next? Video, of course, it's easy. It's working all the time. It's video. And then you not only know by the SMS or call, but then you see that somebody breaks in your house, in your premises, on your object, yeah? And it helps you, yeah? It's more safety. Now if you know before that now you see. And basically 90% of the pictures will be like that. Somebody in a dark dress, something dark with some hoodies or something, and you will see this picture. So 100% safety, yes? Yeah? So if you knew by the alarm system, then you see, and the business is safe. No, it's not that. So basically, this is why we need to talk more about security specialist as a very intelligent person. So, because the segment of security is very, very big, and different things need to take in account. So, for example, first part is physical security. We talk about physical guards, physical person who is securing some processes, who is making something to happen, I don't know, giving out the keys, controlling persons, everything. Even today we have a physical security to control who is attending our conference, yes? So the first is physical security. It's pretty big. You need to work with employees, with the people. They have different specific needs, different specific thoughts. So next one is technical security. It's also everything what we talk about today. A lot of things what we see, it's different things what is working, but which helps, supports, and sometimes replace security guard or security specialist. So then it's very huge topic now and very important cybersecurity, because a lot of things are now in a database and with technologies, and everything is connected with application and blah, blah, blah. So basically, it's also very, very big topic. Another thing, we're talking about today a lot of analysis about risks, because as we saw in the previous scenario, you work with already happened situation, yeah? But to work in a prevention, you need to understand, you need to analyze what could happen, what could be the risks, and how I can manage them. Next one, also very, very big topic, and it's relevant to basically every business. Every unit, even security unit, need to think about prevention of loss. It's different kind of loss, what you are spending, what somebody is stealing, what somebody is taking. I don't know, even if you have a company and somebody take white paper sheets to home, yes? How many? Somebody counts how many money we are spending that way. It's good or bad? Are we okay with this loss or not? So basically it's very, very high. And of course, actions as we saw in a previous presentation, action with this, what to do in crisis situation, in fire situation, I don't know what to do. And it's also the segment of security. And one more thing, which is relevant to security segment, but maybe a little bit outside the topic, but it is employee safety. Yeah, it's a big part, and this legislation and everything. But still, security specialists always need to think about employees who are working in the organization, in the company. Yeah, so this is very, very big amount of information. Very knowledgeable person should be. So after that, I have a question. So what should be the competences of security specialists? Maybe you can name some. Yeah, don't be shy, please. What competences should be? Just scream out. Or no, nothing. Smart. It's very important. Smart, okay. Something else? Analytical, perfect, yes. Something else? Motivated, good. And? Creativity, this is very important. It's like a little bit of art, yes? Security is always a little bit like art. Great. One more?
A little bit of criminal.
A little bit of criminal, maybe previous experience, yes? Okay. So, and if I would stay here and ask you, each other, everybody will say some of competence, because it's a lot of competences you need to include in security. In security specialist, it's a lot of, you need to understand business, you need to understand organization, you need to be a creativity, you need to be analytic, you need to be bam. And so this is a case, so for security. And basically, better security specialists who have more this kind of competences. So today, we will talk a little bit about failures that came out if your security specialists don't have so much competence. So first of all, it's not seeing, but there's a guard who have a creativity, as you mentioned before, yeah? And he's sleeping right back of the poster, yeah? And this is how, and you are paying money for that. You, me, or customer, somebody is paying for that. But he's sleeping and in the front standing some poster. So he's not motivated, or he's not well-trained, or he's old, or he's tired, maybe, yeah? Could be a lot of different reasons. So, this one, fantastic thing, yeah? We put a fence in the front to drive in. Yes, it's fantastic, yeah? But we forgot to put all fence around. So we cover some entrance, but we forgot to do it all around. So people just use different road to drive in, yeah? So I don't see you using some things that is not relevant even for security. Yeah? Made out of the wood, some cameras or things that doesn't even looks realistic, yeah? But we are making that, or somebody is doing that, and this is a specialist who is making what we saw in these profiles. So, and then we invest in videos, we invest in different systems, but then comes marketing, comes, I don't know, sales. Somebody comes and puts some screen to get more entertainment area, yeah? And then camera around, I don't know, 200 euros, all the work, everything is just deleted because somebody puts something in the front and you don't follow that, and this is what it's working, yeah? So you are spending money for that, or customer spending money for that. And of course this one, so you have a problem, you want to put some extra security on your doors, you have a partner, you have some supplier, he make a job, and you're feeling so safety, but the job is make terrible. Yeah, it's terrible job because it's just maybe visually make you safety. Yeah, you see this will open when you open the door. And of course, creativity of people. What you also mentioned, different kind of systems. You put lockers and everything you put on, and then to be easier for work, you just write somewhere codes or some door opening numbers or something, yeah? So this is from real life, and it's happening day by day in different places. I think even here, maybe not here, but when I have some lectures, then somebody have mobile phone with credit cards, and under the credit cards there is a paper with a code of credit card to don't forget the numbers, yeah? So this is pretty crazy. And of course, the service-oriented security officers who informs everybody, all visitors, that hey, I will be gone in five minutes, so I will come back, yeah, after some 5 minutes. So you see this, yeah, and this is very big trick and a risk for everybody, because this happened day after day after day after day, and this I will be back in 5 minutes. I understand that nobody is in security position, nobody watching after CCTV or something, and I can do everything what I want, yeah. So this is big failures what we have day by day with security specialists who is untrained, who don't understand what is security about. So, and this slide is most important for everybody of us, I think so. I don't know, maybe not for everybody, but it seems the most recent mistakes which people who are working in security, different areas, selling, producing, I don't know, consulting and everything, are doing. So basically, first mistake is according to how they pay, we are working. Yeah? So this is like if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. So in my opinion and in my view, security, all segment or industry is not a priority in Latvia, for example. Also, I know Lithuanian market pretty good and Estonian. So we are not in priority. Always there is priority something else, and then comes security, and then comes cleaning companies. It's how it is. Yeah, it's life. But it's until the moment something big happen. So that's why what we need to understand, we need to pay normal salaries, normal money for guys who are working and doing our lives more safety and more better. One more problem which I face with a lot of people who working in a security industry is I'm asking some questions to them, and they say the normal answer I came, it was already there. The security specialist or security managers or anybody who's working in security need to forget about that kind of answers. You need to know everything. Why this camera is filming these doors, why here we have, I don't know, thermo camera, why we have here something. Every system, everything in a building, in an organization, which is related to security, have to be with some idea, with some task. It could not be just because somebody put there and just stays there. Yeah? So this is very big problem. So that's why we security don't work efficient. That's why security maybe is cost too much, make too much costs and stuff like that. So make cost efficient, you need to forget about this kind of topic. Also, today I heard this kind of thing that security is as an additional responsibility for somebody. Usually it's technical director or I don't know, maybe sometimes marketing director or somebody who just pay the bills and orders some stuff. So it never can security be as something responsibility additional. Because of that, if something is additional that I'm as a normal human being, I don't want to do that. I will do my work, what is direct my work, and this additional will be like passed away. So that's why security, it's better to have a part-time employee of security than put somebody responsibility security, because it's 99% it doesn't work in my experience. So also in security industry we are using this term like nothing personal, just a business. But security and safety is always about personal relationship between a supplier, between a team, between a company, between everybody. Because security, if you remember Maslow hierarchy of needs, security is one of the most important things for a human being. Yeah? That's why security never can be just a business. And I think biggest part of you who are here today, also you can be in different I don't know, industries, but security is always a little bit closer to heart, as I call, with added value, yeah? Security is always give somebody added value. So that's why you can never say just a business, because it's never the right. So one more thing in this, today we see a lot of technological solutions and a lot of things, and security work cannot be boring, because you have so many interesting stuff to do, to analyze, to see, to view, to coordinate, to organize. So that's why this also cannot be a case that it is boring. One more thing, as we saw also in the picture, sometimes we put too much pressure, too much work on security or security specialists. And we need to remember that there is always some limits of human. Yeah, it's not like they can do everything. They are not robots. So that's why we need to take in account security should be a little bit planet, not a little bit, but planet work. So for example, I always like this advertisements when some company is writing, we are providing 24/7 monitoring of your premises, of your organization. So and then I see the video that guy is sending in the front of 20, I don't know, monitors, and 24/7 watching in the monitors what's happening in your organization. So it's never worked that way. So it needs to be a complex solution between technologies and between a security specialist who understands what to do. Yeah. So and lack of knowledge, of course. If you don't have a knowledge what to do, how to act, what the system is working, what it's doing, and how it needs to work, and what threats could be, then of course it's difficult. So that's why this is most important, eliminate all these things. And basically if you eliminate the things, then you as a security specialist or your teammates or your, I don't know, employees could be a better security specialist than they are now. So, of course, what to do? The most important thing, all the managers are saying, I think more or less, so you need to invest in your employees. It meaning also in security specialists, I don't know, in sales, everybody who's working with security, you need to invest in them. So training session, different kind of trainings. Now we have a different kind of seminars, conference where we can speak, meet each other. So we need to invest in security specialists to get better results. Exchange of experience. Yes, somebody have something good happen in an organization, and you never change his experience with other colleagues. So, and he also will need to start from beginning and go through all the processes to get on the same page as you are. So that's why you need to exchange experiences. Yeah? Meetings, working groups, solving some case studies, different kind of actions you can take to rise a competence of your employees, of your colleagues, I don't know, of department of security specialists. It depends on field that you are working. From my experience also, I always try to involve different kind of employees in some different kind of projects. When you involve employees in a project, so they take a part of decisions, they take part of everything, and they feel more better, they are more motivated, and the result is more better than it could be if you were doing something without them. So, and the last one, of course, education. And I know that, for example, in our business university, Turiba, now this year we have even master degree in organization security. Yeah, so there is possibility. You just need to look after them, and yeah, and when you take the steps, then your employees, security specialists, will start to think out of the box. And as we mentioned before, it's very important. You need to be creative. In some cases, you need to find solution to prevent, to secure some premises, some objects, and it will get the benefits for everybody. So more motivated employees. It's very important to have very motivated employees, because not always the salary, the wage is in a place. Yeah, it's also need to be motivation of employees. So not competent employees also will rise. And this is very important when the employees are going, I don't know, if they're working in services or different, and they're meeting the customers, they can say or consult them or have some good ideas also in in-house meetings. Yeah? So more satisfied customers. So if you have competent employees who are servicing your customer, the customer is more satisfied. There is no answer, I don't know, in the customer service field. And I'm working in customer service field for 10 years. I don't know that kind of answer. You cannot say that answer for customer. Yeah? And when you grow enough with the competencies and employees are competent, so you are not any longer a supplier. You are as a partner. And becoming a partner of your customer is most important. And we talk like before that is very, very important to make this personal relationship between you, customer, or somebody else. So this is very important to become a partner, not just a supplier. Yeah? And a more recognized brand, it's always necessary. You never know who is in the audience. Maybe in what time, in what period, somebody will come and ask for help or for your for some of your service or your product. So it's always making your organization brand knowable. Yeah, so everybody recognize your brand. And additional sales, additional services, you can provide consultation and everything, and make just a good relationship with the industry. So, and this all helps the organization fast growing. Thank you for attention. Maybe you have some questions.
Yes, thank you. Any questions, please? Oh.
Oh, there is
yes.
a hand. I see.
Yep. These are very qualified questions, I must warn you.
Hi, I have a question for you.
Hi.
I will describe you a situation, real situation, and can you answer me what would be the right job and reaction of the security? Can you imagine that you are working in an office full of people and suddenly the office alarm goes off, but it's only in Latvian and Russian. But you have colleagues who speak English and doesn't understand Latvian or Russian. And it was not enough that this alarm went off once, it went off 3 times. So my question was at that moment, where the hell is security?
Very good question. I don't know where was security at this moment, but if we can go forward in this situation, it also can be that there is no sound in the building because it's broken or it's burning already. Yeah, so it also could be the case. But the main topic for this or main thesis for this is that security guard responsibilities get everybody out. Everybody out. It's no matter you talk Latvian, Russian, Chinese, or somehow. For example, I have been manager for security for a pretty long period, have a lot of interesting situation in my life. So it's trading center, full of people, and people are eating in cafeterias, yes? And they are eating and just bought a good carbonate, you know, and just want to eat and so good. And what to do? And security fire alarm comes in and everybody need to evacuate. So what to do? Even it means that even if the situation is like something can happen to any of persons, you can even take it by hand and just bring out. So most important thing is people lives. So nothing more is so important. Yeah. So.
And in these situations, there's always this one thing, one person who makes the first step, because everyone is looking at everyone and waiting what will happen. If no one moves, I don't move too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a classic. That's called social exception phenomena. All right, any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Paldies, Uģi.
Paldies.
Before the closing words of the official part, before that, there is a very important information on the evening part. Remember, there's this great lottery where you can get some delicacies, some big amount of beer, or a little amount of some other fun, and then you have to be present. That will take place here from 5 to 7. Expo will go on, the exhibition, and also there will be some musical event on the stage. So that's all for the after party. But now, please welcome Maris back with his closing words of the official part.
So, my voice has gotten even worse. I've been talking all day. I hope that you are capable of understanding what I am saying right now. First of all, I want to remind that workshops are still going. They will keep going until 5, approximately. If you want to know more and in a more silent voice, please come and ask. But I want to know if any of you remember what I asked in the very beginning of the day. Oh, I'm sure Valdis remembers. Anyone else?
No, I was just showing.
Okay, yeah, right. So I really hope that each and one of you got a possibility to pin down at least 4 of those things. And remember that the main thing is to bring them about your day tomorrow and tell it to your colleagues and spread the information. That is all this summit was about. So as Valdis said, we are going to be here until 7. We have a short break. We'll have the hall prepared, and we'll have a lot of fun until 7 o'clock tonight. Thank you very much for coming over, and we'll see you next year. Or I will also use the possibility to say that we can also meet in April in Baltic Security Conference. So plan your calendars for April as well. Thank you very much. You are welcome to go to workshops now.